Inspiration. Such a demanding thing. Or does it have to be?
You can't make something if you're not consuming something.
Or I create art in ordinariness. One doesn't have to look very far.
Let me say a cosmic phenomenon.
In conversations, ideas come to life.
All of these things can be well springs of creativity.
I want to be able to teach people, inspire people. That's where it all began.
Somehow managed to see an opportunity where others didn't. Get it off the ground, people resonate with it, and it's become its own thing.
They told a story around it, and that's what really inspired me. There's so many possibilities. It's a very big pond, I guess.
Thankful that I got super bored not doing anything, so that made me start putting myself out there. Just be yourself.
Just appreciate everything.
It's All Material. It's a podcast for and by creatives. My name is Aubrey, and I dare say, it's all material. Let's get to the nitty-gritty now, shall we? Have you ever thought about trying something new, and there are just a lot of objections happening inside your head? What if it won't work? What if I fail? What if I'm too old for this? What would people think? What if I suck? And the list goes on. I was just like that. When I was a kid, I was fond of singing. I worked on it, and I was getting good at it. Then when I joined a band in middle school, I wanted to start playing the guitar. But people told me, don't. It'll ruin your hands. Because at the time I'd already started doing visual art, and some people even said, just stick to singing. Let other people play. Those people were close to me, so as a young girl who only wanted to fit in, to be accepted, I understood it as I shouldn't ruin other people's moment, because I was being selfish to even want to sing and play and be good at both at the same time. I thought that I was only allowed to be one thing. When I was in college, my classmate, John, who's now one of my good friends, invited me to audition for a radio DJ search. I was 17. And I got in, so happy. Then I started going on air. I thought everything was going to go well from there. It was a whole new world for me. But during the first few months, I should tell you that I sucked. I sucked. Big time. I found out that I was just winging it, and whenever I messed up, I'd get a call from the boss because they were monitoring every show. Looking back, I've come to realize that the reason why it took a while to get comfortable with a mic, with my own voice, is because I didn't want to listen to myself talk back then. I was afraid that people would think I was trying too hard to be 2 or 3 things at the same time. What is she saying? What a phony. What the hell is that all about? I was thinking, who am I fooling? I'm never gonna get the hang of this. Why am I even here? People were right. I shouldn't even try to be anything else other than what I've already been, because clearly I suck at this. 4 to 5 months in, and one day my radio mentor passed by the booth and told me that what I said on air was brilliant. I remember what song it was that I introduced. It was Dynamite by Tayo Cruz. It was a Filipino pun. I said, Tayo ay sasabog because of Tayo Cruz's Dynamite. I know it could have been better, but I was a teenager. That surprised me. He was a radio genius, and he liked what I said. And that kind of gave me a reason to stick with it. And I thought to myself that progress took baby steps after all. That it was okay to suck. All I can do is get better at it, one show at a time. And one day I will have surprised myself with the progress that I made. The mic and I were inseparable ever since. EST 2009. Going back to my music life for years because I watered the idea of I should just stick to singing. That made a thick wall between me and my creativity. Then when COVID happened, I just couldn't stand not being able to make something just because I had nobody to work with. Because we were all staying at home and not seeing each other and everything. How am I supposed to make a song without my bandmates when all of this is happening? I wouldn't have it. I just wouldn't have it. And because I couldn't stand it, I finally gave myself permission. In those moments, I decided to drown out the voices inside my head that said, "You're gonna make a fool out of yourself. You're gonna suck at this. People will think you're no good because you're not a prodigy, because you learned late, because you started late. People will think you're pretentious and that you're trying too hard." I mean, nobody else said it, at least not out loud, and not in front of me. So I tried to drown those voices out and thought, my judgment was actually the only judgment getting in the way of my goal. Finally, I said yes to myself, that it wouldn't hurt to suck at something new because I needed to do the work if I wanted to create. And I thought, why would I let my fear get in the way of my art? So I set my fear aside. I picked up and played my first guitar on March 1st, 2020. I then released my first album 5 months later, September 1st. I produced 10 original songs. One would say if I'd only learned to play 15 years ago, I'd have produced more songs by now, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. When you say yes to yourself, everything that used to stop you is just gonna be background noise. Go write that book, go make that video, hell, go record that podcast. Go say yes and start your journey. Go for it. I held myself back for years, and because of that, I held other people back too. And I don't want to be that moving forward. I want to be the one to tell people, go for it. Don't be afraid. You're not alone. That's why this podcast, It's All Material, is about shared experiences. To let people know, to let you know that you're not alone in your struggles, that I too, every single day, try to be better. And I hope I can create this safe space for you, for all of us. And as artists, as creatives, our stories need to be heard so it can light a fire for everyone who wants to pursue a creative career, or maybe someone who's already in a creative career but is struggling or is in need of inspiration. Let's get to the nitty-gritty now, shall we? This is Aubrey, and you're listening to It's All Material. New episode every Thursday at 7 p.m.